Hello, one and all. Welcome back to Press Play Action. Favorite podcast of the year right here. The top 10, the bottom 10, and a little something extra that we're throwing in this year. We have a full house tonight. Man, this has been a fun week of podcasts. Full houses all the way around. Mitchell Lea, Tommy Grant, Brandon 2, and Howie Collings, per usual, joining us for the top 10 and the bottom 10. Good to have you all here for this. I'm very excited because, Tommy, this is the first top 10 list I've ever done with you.
This is my first podcast with Howie, so it's a historic night.
Yeah. And you guys are both in New York, just different sides of the state completely.
Yeah. Go Bills over there, right? But it's
Bills,
Jets Nation for me.
It's
Jets
Nation.
You're putting your faith in Josh Allen. We're putting our faith in Aaron Glenn. So we'll see what happens. But we're not here to talk about the stupid-ass New York Jets today. We're here to talk about the stupid-ass movies we saw, as well as the fantastic movies we saw and something else that we'll get to later. But, guys, before we get into that, 2024 has kind of garnered a reputation of being a bad year for movies.
Wrong.
And
I think that's just a Mitchell opinion.
I said it's garnered that reputation, not that I gave it the reputation, because I think I loved more movies this year than 2023 or 2022, but the top 5 is definitely weaker than previous years. Like my 2 through 4 is about as weak as it's ever been. My number 1's extremely good, and my 6 through 10 is very strong compared to most other years, but that other half of the top 10 list is kind of lacking. So I don't know. As someone that has been watching a lot of 2010 movies, all I have to say is this year is doing all right. We've got no problems here, personally. What do you guys think about that reputation of it being a bad year?
Mitchell, we walked out of our marathon, The Brutalist and Nickel Boys double feature, and I said to you, there's a lot of people that are down on this year for movies, but I personally love maybe 20 movies, and then I would say maybe even 30 or 40. Like once you get to my 40, I love that movie. Like I may not rewatch it all the time, but I thoroughly enjoyed my experience at the movie theaters this year. Like I thought there was a lot of really enjoyable movies, even if they aren't cult classics or box office juggernauts. I really enjoyed my time with the movies this year.
I can't give a solid opinion on that because as someone who doesn't get to go to the movies, just come on streaming.
You've been putting up numbers from home, though.
I know numbers at home.
I was told to watch 2024 movies, so that's what I did.
Yeah, fair.
And I was really pissed because Gladiator 2 came out last night, and I tried to watch it, and I was like, "I'm gonna be up in an hour." So I was like, So I watched the first half an hour, and I was like, "I gotta go to bed."
Hey, I put in 3 movies this today.
No, you didn't watch movies today. You watched Blood and Honey. That does not count.
We'll get to it.
Hey, Blood and Honey was a popular item on last year's list. I gave it number 0. So,
however, I did leave work early one day to go to the theaters to see one movie, and that's my number 1.
Okay. Howard, I was gonna say your movie experience is a lot different than our movie experience because of where you live.
Yeah.
For one day this year, it wasn't though.
That's true.
That's true. Listen, Mitchell pulled up to New York this year. We got to see Dune in the IMAX 70 millimeter, which living in Lincoln New York, Square. This is one of the perks. Okay. Nothing beats going to the theaters in New York because it's so easy to get there on the subway to do it. You can cram out a whole day doing it. You can even go. I've done multiple times where I've went to one theater and I went to Lincoln Square and then I went to 19th Street. Like I did multiple movie theaters in one day just because it's so easy to do in New York. It's a cheat code. And so if you guys have not been to Lincoln Square, highly recommend if you come to New York at any point, plan a trip to go to see the IMAX theater because Mitchell, man, I know he was loving that. He had the best time seeing Dune 2 at 70 millimeter there. It was crazy.
Letterboxd profile pic.
Number one,
Hey,
baby.
if there's a profile, and again, shout out to Howie for being a staunch believer in not using the Flash. But if there's a movie to make that trip for, Dune Part 2 is a great one to do it. But I have a feeling we're going to be talking about Dune Part 2 plenty here in a little bit. So let's just go ahead and dive in. We're starting off with the top 10, then a little something in the middle, and then we're going to do our worst list. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
Let's dive in. Top 10 of 2024. And the way that we do this, Tommy, is the person with the least amount of movies goes first. And then you work your way, and the person who saw the most movies gets the last word. So that would mean
This might be the final man talking.
yes. But I also see the most movies, so that works out for me.
Mitchell has been dethroned 2 or 3 years in a row until 2024. I crushed Mitchell last year. I destroyed him.
You did.
He
You
wants
sound
to
like
talk
a Cowboys fan
wants to
talking about the
talk
past all the time, or Patriots fan, just
He
like
wants to talk about this
old
year.
days.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm talking about
just
this
8
year.
hours, just 4 movies. Oh, please! I had you by like
That's
20
8 hours I have above you, and I saw Dune 2 7 times. So
Fair enough.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Twisters 3 times. So
I just wanted to point out that Mitchell hasn't always seen the most movies. He hasn't always gotten the last word. Is my point.
yeah.
Okay.
How many movies in total did you see this year? Because I saw over 300.
No,
bitch.
I know. I'm nowhere near that.
Yeah, no,
I
no,
was like-
not close.
I was like 140. I think 140.
People thought that like, oh, when he gets a full time job, his pace
Yeah,
will slow
Mitchell
down.
made it up.
No one only hurried up
Yeah. You
because I
made
got
that up.
weekends now.
Mitchell,
Hang on.
my job did me no favors.
Hold on.
With my
You
situation.
saw 300 movies like in theaters?
No.
No. This includes at home.
At
Okay.
home, yeah,
Yeah.
I was
on
about to
his
say,
phone,
dude, like, what kind of money are you made of, man?
on his
No.
smart fridge,
I'll be my sugar daddy.
Streaming services. No. That this.
on his
No.
smart fridge on his way to work.
There
No,
you go.
Brandon, you're the smart fridge movie king. He's like, yeah, no, I saw War of the Worlds 7. I'm like, where was 2 through 6?
On your smart fridge?
Yeah,
I was
basically.
making a joke.
Yeah, you have to watch it in.
I was about to say, I'm like,
90
can they do
second
that?
increments.
I did watch one of these movies on my phone, and I'll let you know which one it was later. But it was
All
okay
right, well,
experience.
Tommy,
Go ahead.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna go. Everybody give their 10 through 6, and then we'll do our 5 through 1. Or 5 through 2, and then we all give our 1. So, Tommy, 10 through 6.
10 through 6. So in 10th place, I have Ghostbusters.
What?
I'm a Ghostbusters
way.
junkie, man.
No way. Oh my
I like
God.
it. Stand on business. I like
What?
it.
Tommy,
Look,
you're
Howie,
gonna hate me.
The
Tommy,
Frozen
You don't know me very
Empire?
well, but all my opinions
What?
piss Mitchell off to no end.
You're
So just,
gonna you're gonna
respect this
hate me.
reaction.
You're gonna
No,
hate me.
you're pissing Brandon off more than you're pissing me
You're gonna
off.
hate me because you're not gonna like what's about to come in this podcast.
But look at the number of movies I've seen compared to you. I'm sure my list would be different if I saw all the movies you guys
Hey
saw.
man, but I know you prioritize seeing good movies
No,
more
no.
than bad movies.
I'm telling you that I saw all those movies, and there's a certain movie that's going to be on a certain list that you're not going to like at the end of this podcast.
Hey, I don't give a fuck.
Hey, Tommy,
Everybody's
why'd you
allowed to have
like
an
it?
opinion. Everybody's
Why'd you
allowed
like
their
it?
own movies.
Yeah, why'd you like it? Yeah, what
Yeah.
about it? Yeah, I mean,
I just
This
like
isn't
the
hate time.
Ghostbusters. I enjoyed the cast. I enjoy that they're doing like a fresh take and they actually
okay.
were loyal to the original cast and brought them back. Unlike the the remake that they made where they just said fuck you to the original cast. And it was an awful movie. So I'm glad they're at least trying something different. It
Did
wasn't
you
the
like
best
the
Ghostbusters
backstory?
movie, but
Did you like the plot, like the storyline? Did you?
I thought it was good, yeah.
Did you think it was good? Okay.
Well, it's on his top 10 list. I don't expect him to be like, yep, and I hated all of it.
Sorry, I just wanted him to give me something. Like, yeah, the story was okay.
I will say I liked McKenna Grace a good bit in that movie. I think that she's been the best part of the most recent Ghostbusters movies. And if there was something good about those movies, and I gave it a D+, I really didn't like it, that would be it. And that's the character you spend the most time with. So
Yeah,
I can see there being something to hold on to there.
I do like her character. but that's probably the one redeeming.
Now, my number 9 is Furiosa.
Yes,
Okay.
let's go.
There we
I'm,
go.
I'm
Back to
glad this
quality.
is on someone's list.
So I was never a big Mad Max person at all. I've
Yeah.
seen only the most recent one, so I can't really judge the rest of the Mad Max movies. But I don't know what it was, but I really actually enjoyed watching this.
Mm.
Because even the one that came out before this, I didn't really care for, the one with Tom Hardy. This one I
Fury
really
Road. Fury Road. You're not a
it
Fury
wasn't,
Road guy?
it's not my thing, but
Yeah.
Furiosa brought me in.
I don't like good
and
movies. I
I'm
like
gonna give it
Ghostbusters.
another chance.
I'm with
Mad Max
Tommy.
is a lot. It's a lot to
Yeah.
take in. I'm gonna be
That
honest.
is true.
Like, it took me a second.
I will say I haven't seen the older ones. Mitchell got me to see Fury Road at some point, and I'm not as high as on other people. Like I don't believe it's like a
Yeah.
sci-fi masterpiece, but Furiosa, some of the shots and some of the stuff they do in that movie is incredible. Like it is.
I'm with Brandon as far as like I don't give Fury Road an A+, but I'm very close to giving it an A+. Whereas I see most people putting it in like top 5 of the decade for the 2010s, and I'm just not there.
And so I wonder like how
all.
people feel about like what the overall reception of Furiosa is. Because
I'm very curious to see how people look back on Furiosa in 10 years.
yeah.
So number 8, I've got Late Night with the Devil.
Okay, that one's solid.
That's awesome.
Number 7, I have Dune Part 2.
Okay. Well,
7.
I mean, 7.
Hey, I'm not a big
7.
Dune person, but I'm gonna give it.
Low.
I'm gonna give it its praise.
He's a
I'll
Ghostbusters
take
guy.
it.
He's a Ghostbusters
I'll
guy.
also
He's not a
say
dude.
he saw Dune at home.
Yeah, that changes it. That
So
does, I mean, I guess that changes it. I mean, I could see that movie on a shoe, and it would be let's be real.
I can watch it on my smart fridge.
I can watch it in a PDF.
Yeah.
PDF, yeah.
And then number 6, I have
Cool.
Smile 2.
Smile too.
Oh, I'm glad that movie's getting some representation here because that was
phenomenal.
So that's an interesting movie, Mitchell. It's nowhere near my like honorable mention, but is it? I don't want to spoil stuff. I don't want to. Yeah. I mean, do you guys want to openly talk about that movie? Because I have some strong opinions about it. I didn't hate it. I gave it an A. But I have some
what do you
opinions
have to?
about
Did you just
why
not like the
I felt
ending?
that. Yeah, the ending was just, I don't know. Like,
See, okay, I'll admit, and I don't want to get too much into spoilers because I do want this this podcast to serve as like these are the movies you should watch and catch up on if you haven't seen them. So I don't really want to spoil too much, but from the second that the plot was announced, like we're going to be following a pop star, I knew exactly how the movie was going to end, but I kind of wanted the movie to end that way. I wasn't disappointed about that. I was like, ooh, it'd be really cool if they left off with this, and they do. And now I'm really interested to see what happens in Smile 3. But Naomi Scott was so great in this movie. I mean,
awesome.
I've still been listening to the songs from the movie, and she's been fantastic. I can't wait to see her in more stuff.
Perez? Fuck Billy Perez.
I haven't seen Amelia Perez. I'll be 100% honest.
I haven't either. But
I'm kind of dreading that. If keeping it 100.
So Tommy, I did want to ask with Small 2.
Yes.
Since it's on your top 10 list, I'm assuming you really, really like the beginning of that movie. Because the beginning of that movie is sick. Like, it is sick.
The whole movie was great. I mean, I think the scares, they weren't a cheap copycat of the first movie, which I liked. And because that's definitely a franchise that they could just cop out and just do the same shit over and over with different actors. The fact that they at least upgraded it a little bit was nice. And the one scene where she's in her apartment and like there's like all those people are there in the hallway, that fucking scared the shit out of me. And horror movies usually don't scare me that much. That freaked me out. Like it was just unsettling.
So Mitchell, you know I tell you like, oh, I like to sit on the ends. So I sat on like F1 of the Dolby Theater, and then at some point I moved down to B1 and was just like hiding. I was like hiding behind my face. I was like, oh, this is oh no. Like I just kept. It is a very like scary movie. Like I didn't like it for that reason. Also, like it's almost too scary in my opinion.
I do like that you turned into Bane for a second while talking about it. The sound in that movie was terrifying.
Oh, and
And
Dolby hits different.
Yeah, I saw it in like the Regal equivalent to Dolby, and it slapped so hard. I liked it so much more in the first one, and I loved the first Smile. So big fan of Smile 2. All right, Howie, 10 through 6, take it away.
10 through 6. You know, I
If
will
you have
say,
any honorable mentions, go ahead.
okay, I didn't know if we could do it now or wait till later, but I'll
No,
throw them
now's
in
the
now
time.
while we're here. Okay, perfect. Well, first thing I want to say too is I watched more movies this year than last year, so I definitely put some time in. I'm
Good
at like
job.
9 or 10 more movies than last year. So and I will also say too that there were a lot of talk about movies this year being like not as good as 2023. I will say that like it was really hard to top Oppenheimer and Spider-Verse. Like I don't any of these movies, none of them would have been like if Oppenheimer came out 2024, it would have been number one by far. Like nothing was coming close.
Okay.
However, I think that this year had a very good spread of really, really good movies. And I think that's where people were like, oh, there's no big blockbuster besides Dune, really, and Deadpool were like the only two big blockbusters technically. But this year had some great movies, and I guess going into that, I'll do my honorable mentions. So I'll do these movies were my number 15 to 11. Number 15 was Transformers 1, which surprised that movie was that good. I did not expect an animated Transformers movie to hit like that, but anime movies are just continuing to just tear up the world. They're amazing. And then also number 14 is The Wild Robot. So back to back animated movies for me in my 15, 14. Number 13, as somebody who is not a big horror person, there were a lot of horror movies that came out this year that I really liked. And Heretic, I really, really enjoyed. I had a great time with that. So that's number 13 for me. Number 12 was Civil War. I really liked this movie, but I hated the ending, but I understood exactly what they were doing. I get it. I understand. I didn't like it, but I get what they were going for. And number 11 was Conclave. So Conclave just missed my top 10. Just
I didn't
missed
know you
it.
saw
It was
that one.
I did. I loved it. It was so good, but it just barely made it outside the top 10. So that's my honorable mentions.
Civil War is one that I wanted to like so much more than I did, but
Yeah.
I hated the way that movie wrapped up.
So
Yeah.
the way that movie
like,
wraps up, it's not anywhere near my honorable mentions either. I think I have like 23rd.
No.
Look, the way that movie wraps up, it is what it is. Alex
Yeah.
Garland, though, he can shoot like a war scene. He can make you
Yeah.
feel like
And
you're
he's got another war movie coming out this year.
I mean,
in April.
that movie's gonna slap. Like that movie.
It's the
that movie's
A24
gonna
one,
be-
right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's called. I have no
It's
idea what
war.
it's called.
I got
It's
it.
war
I'll look
something.
it up. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Parts of war.
But basically, Alex Garland is really good
Warfare.
at like, capturing.
Warfare.
Yeah, it's called Warfare. Yeah.
Warfare.
He's really good at capturing like images of war and like making you feel like you're in it. So I watched that movie in Dolby as well because there's a
Yeah.
theme I love the Dolby platform. I mean, you really feel like you're in some deep shit when you're watching that movie.
Yeah.
So I really like that movie, but the ending for me just I think took it away from being I think a great
Yeah.
movie.
Number
That's what
38
took
on
it
my
away.
list.
38. Okay. That's not bad.
But I still
pack.
gave it a B plus. I really liked the movie and would rewatch it, but I just the end definitely.
Yeah, I'm not that far
bad
down.
taste
I
in
think
my
I
mouth.
gave it an A still, but yeah, just not anywhere near.
Yeah, I was definitely the hater of this movie, although I still really liked it.
If the ending was better, I think it would have been in my top 10. But
Fair.
movie did hit number 10 for me. This movie I think technically came out in 2023. It was like a little like very, very, very limited release, but not really. Strange Darling, which I don't know if a lot of people
No,
have
that
seen.
counts. That counts.
And I'm like, yo, this movie is slept on. Like, this movie was crazy. Literally, the plot twist halfway through the movie did not see coming. It was really engaging. I love the cast. Like, no notes. It was so enjoyable. I really liked it.
I just missed that one. I really wanted to get to it, but yeah, I'm glad it made your list because I know you were really high on that one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was so surprised leaving the theater like, whoa, this movie hits. Number 9, Mitchell, I know you're gonna love to hear this one, is Deadpool and Wolverine at number 9.
Oh man, well I love it.
Wow. Marvel was back for a moment. I don't know if they're gonna be back fully, but they were back for Deadpool. Deadpool and Wolverine.
So,
I love this movie
Yeah.
so much. Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman. I won't say any spoilers because if you guys haven't seen it,
Dogpool.
which you should have, but
Dogpool.
you know,
Mary
the,
Poppins.
literally so many. The cameos were amazing. Love the movie so much. Number 9. That's for Mitchell's. Hopefully, he enjoys hearing that one.
Mitchell, I'll go
Number
ahead. I'll,
58 on my list.
you were
Number
such a hater.
50.
You were such a hater. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and
Correct.
say, Howie. I'm gonna go ahead and give mine because I don't think I'll give him my honorable mentions. It's number 19 for me.
Ooh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
All right.
A
You know what?
55.5.
I'll accept that.
Yeah, you know, I liked it a lot. I thought when I first watched it, I was like, because if we're being honest, the beginning of the year kind of a little slow in terms of really really good movies. So at first,
Yeah.
when I saw it like multiple times, I was like, wow, is this really going to be in my top 10? Like it might be, and then it just kept kind of falling and falling and falling for me. But I will go back and watch that movie probably 4 more times at least.
So good. 19 is a really good spot, honestly, for your ranking. So that makes me feel a lot better too. That's number 9.
You're good. You're good. Mitchell's a hater. No, don't listen to him.
I will talk about this movie more later.
I can't wait to hear it.
No way.
Can't wait to hear it. But going on from that, this movie I thought would have been in my top 5, but the end of the year had some bangers. But The Substance was
Wow, I thought that was going to be like top 3 for you.
It was. I thought it was too, but it was number 8. It was number 8 on my top 10. I know. I really loved it, but again, the ending, understood where coming from. Slightly loved it, but most of it I was like, that's a little much.
Guys,
but I
It
understand
just
where
went a
they're
little
coming
bit
from.
too far. Brandon, did you ever get to that one?
I watched it 2.5 hours ago.
Okay, you did.
2.5 hours ago. I bought it on Amazon for $5 and watched that.
Yeah.
Crap. Number 20 for me on my list.
Number 20.
20.
Oh.
Look. The ending is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I think in my review I put 40 minutes in the movie, I thought I knew where the ending was going. I thought I knew where this was going. And boy, was I wrong.
Actually,
boy, did I not
I can't
that.
hate on you, Brandon. It's number 19 for me.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
I really like that movie a lot. But I think the ending, they just went a little too far, if I'm being honest.
Just draw back a little bit. It was my lowest rated A+ movie. I gave it the A+, but it was like, it was the A+ range. It was like right there at it. But I really enjoyed the movie. I don't think the ending took it away completely for me. So kept it in
Demi
the A+
Moore
range.
might be coming for that Oscar.
Yeah, Tommy, if you haven't
deserved.
seen this movie, very fun. It's grotesque. You probably shouldn't eat anything before you watch it.
Or while you're watching it.
it. But if you do get around to it, insane ending. Absolutely insane ending.
Good to know.
Phenomenal movie. And I think also the Oscars nominations are tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of the stuff.
I think Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley might both get
I think they both get nominated. I think this gets a Best Picture and a Best Director.
Ooh,
I mean,
I think the Substance loads up.
This is not a Best Picture like movie for me, but it would be hilarious if it actually won. Like
I just want the Oscars to show horror some love because they always do horror dirty.
Yeah.
Put the Substance in there, and I think that this one is going to be the one that breaks through.
That's fair.
I hope so. And, going on to, well, not really horror, but kind of scary thriller. And as somebody who has not seen this franchise, and this was the only movie I saw, I absolutely love Alien Romulus. It's number 7 on my list. I walked out of that movie. I'm like, yo, I didn't know they cook like that. Like, I was like, this movie's so good.
I think that movie has crereated a bunch of Alien fans for people that have seen it.
Oh, it absolutely has.
Me being
I'm one of them now. I gotta watch the rest of them.
I've been holding off on watching it just because I heard it's so good, and I want to watch the other ones before I watch that.
Well, I can ship you the I can ship you the quadrilogy if you want. I bought that on Blu-ray.
I did too.
Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah, if you want the quadrilogy, let me know.
Because I watched Aliens right after watching this, and Aliens is like one of my all-time favorite movies now. This movie was number 44 for me. It was a lot lower, but this movie really gets you like sucked in. It keeps you in that world. Kaylee Spaney has had a fantastic year, and you definitely seem to be a huge fan of hers. with 2 entries, or
Yeah.
Civil War is in your honorable mentions, but
yeah, I
still.
guess it's
Yeah.
2 entries. 49 for me, B plus, but still really enjoyed
Still
it.
really good.
Yeah, still
Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
that's fair. Especially since you guys have seen Alien, the franchise, makes a lot of sense. So for me as a first timer, I'm like,
there was a lot of like callbacks and catchphrases that they do that was just kind of like, I was so sucked into what you were doing. Why did you have to like try to remind me of other stuff? Like, just do
Yeah.
what you're doing, man.
Yeah,
Great job with it.
stay in the lane, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I put it.
so valid. And we want to keep going with more horror as my number 6, and in this part of this segment for me, this movie was top 5. It was top 5 until a few days ago. But Nosferatu is number
Oh,
6
yes.
for me.
Ooh.
It was I
Robert
saw it.
Eggers, welcome to the list.
I saw it right before I flew back to New York for before New Year's, and I just, dude, the whole time I was watching this movie, like, for me, a horror movie, it depends on which ones, but I'll just sit there and I'm just like anxious the whole time. And I was anxious, but I was also so excited to see what was happening next. And Lily Rose Depp better get some awards because,
She's
yo,
not,
she
but
Have you seen the
crushed it. I
video?
know she's not, but she deserves it.
Have you seen the video of her audition? Have you seen her audition?
Yeah,
tape?
yes.
I saw it on Twitter. Yeah, it was crazy.
I didn't know she had that in her because I'd only seen her in The Idol and like,
Yeah.
yeesh.
I mean, she balled out in this movie.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
I mean, I don't want to describe it to basketball, but she basically had a Kyrie moment on the court where she was like,
Yeah.
it's my time. Like, ISO ball. Like, we're taking this to the rack. Like, yeah.
She said, "Ball does not lie."
A
and
little
that
jelly,
acting
a
did
little
not
jelly
lie.
at the rim. Like that's what she did on some of those scenes. I was like, this is just wild. And
Yeah,
Eggers is a monster. Like he's
monster.
my 3rd favorite director. Like I saw The Lighthouse this year in IMAX.
I'm so
The
jealous.
dude gets it. Like he just like Eggers is a monster, dude.
The Northman is still my favorite movie of his, but
Yeah.
spoiler
Oh,
alert, this won't be
so
the last
true.
time. This won't be the last time we talk about Nosferatu on this podcast. But
Nice.
Howie, I'm liking the difference. You know,
Yeah, me too.
Tommy had a strong 10 through 6. Howie had a strong, completely different 10 through
Can you
6.
say that again?
So
Well, a
now
strong 10 through 6 is that one movie.
you had a
but-
strong 9 through 6.
Yeah, 9
and
through 6.
so now is the time for the parrots to come out, because Brandon and I just share a brain when it comes to movies, and I feel like our lists are going to be very similar. So Brandon, if you want to take it away.
Oh.
Brandon always goes on like a 25 movie
Yeah,
honorable
I
mention
won't do
escapade.
I won't do that. I'll go to
Hey,
18,
Will.
Mitchell. I'll go to 18 because I already gave 20, so I might as well just like go to 18. I'm bringing up 18 because I really like this movie, but the ending ruined it for me. 18 for me, Honora. I know some people are probably gonna have this higher.
Ending
The
ruined
ending,
it for you.
the ending ruined it for me. I walked out of that theater and I went, not for me. I understood what they were going for. I get it. Not for me. Not
All
for
right,
me. And
keep it
2/3 of
moving.
that movie, I thought I was at an A plus. I fell all the way down to a mid A. I just couldn't.
All right, maybe it won't be the same brain.
Couldn't do it. Number 17, I rewatched this movie after Mitchell said that he was watching it for the first time. I was like, oh, I need to rewatch this because this movie was great in theaters. Really enjoyed it. Let me see if it bumps it up a little bit. A Real Pain. This movie is
a good one.
emotional. Culkin should get a nomination.
He's going to win.
He might
That's a lot.
well,
He's going to
win.
win.
Supporting actor. I'm with Mitchell though, and his take on the movie. Culkin isn't a supporting actor in this movie. He's the lead. And Jesse Eisenberg should get way more credit. I know he wrote, he produced, he did all that stuff, but his
He directed it too.
Yeah, he directed it. His acting performance in this movie as well is just top notch. Like it's two cousins just bouncing off of each other for 2 hours, and it's phenomenal work. Like
Would you say that they leaned on each other
No, it's fine. Sorry.
like the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah. Lean on me. Lean on him. That's
I was waiting for that to come back
yeah,
up.
I was waiting. A movie that Howie mentioned on his honorable mentions. Number 16 for me, Conclave. Just there's something about it. I think it was the way it was shot. It was the cinematography.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get with like the way it was shot.
Oh, you didn't
Um,
like the cinematography.
no, I liked it. I just thought there was a better way to do the movie, and maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe more close-ups, less wide shots, less. I don't know. Just I like the concept of the movie. Don't get me wrong, and I get it's based off source material, but the ending just felt like kind of cornered into. I guess is the best way to put it. I don't know. But I still like it. I'm not going to give any spoilers because people do need to watch that movie and make their own opinions because I think it's relevant. Not only to today, but I just think it's a great movie to watch. And obviously it's about a conclave. If you don't know what a conclave is, Google that. Um, you know,
I had to actually after the movie. So.
you did. Oh, you were like, oh, is that what a conclave is? Yeah.
I'm like, what is a conclave?
Fair enough. Fair enough. 15. This might be on Mitchell's list, but honorable mention for me. Sing Sing. Mitchell and I watched this together. Love this movie. Love this movie.
Not
Just not
enough.
quite enough for 10. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I would recommend everybody see that movie. That movie is really, really good. One that Mitchell might not have gotten to, number 14, Flow, the animated
Never
movie
got around to it.
about a cat, baby, and you'd be saying that movie's 14 for you? Absolutely. That movie is beautiful. It's emotional. There's no dialogue, obviously, because they're animals. And it's just
There's
so.
never been movies with talking animals before.
I mean, we're getting to a movie with talking animals a little bit later. But yeah, number 14, Flow. It's a.
When
really,
do we get to the top 10?
All right, number 13, Furiosa.
I've been wondering that myself.
Damn.
Number 13, Furiosa. I really liked it. Number 12, Wicked.
Wow,
Wicked
whoa.
did not make my top 10.
Okay.
And then
Alright.
I hate that this movie didn't make my top 10. I hate myself.
But you could.
I hate it
Number
too.
11, Challengers. I
Not in the top 10.
All right.
hate myself
Wow.
that this movie didn't make my top 10, but it didn't. I watched it. I watched it 3 times. I love all the performances. Sex and tennis collide, and it couldn't make my top 10. It just couldn't, you know?
What a combination! It's a made in heaven.
I mean, Tommy, if you haven't seen it, that's
Put
basically
aside
the movie.
talking cats. We
That's
got
basically
second
the
ten.
movie.
Cleaning the bathroom and eating hot fudge combined, like what?
Sex and tennis, baby. I will say some of the shots in that movie are just, I mean,
What's
Some of
number
the-
10, Brandon?
incredible. Okay, number 10, Gladiator 2. Oh
Okay.
man, I feel like I'm higher on this movie than a lot of other people. People are
A
like,
little
oh, this
higher.
is just a remake. Oh, it's just the same as Gladiator. Yeah, no, you can fuck off. This movie's awesome. This movie is awesome. Give me sharks in the Coliseum. Give me biting
Crazy.
baboons. I don't care. I like this movie.
Okay, wait. B2. My question: do you like it more than the original Gladiator?
Oh, absolutely not. The original Gladiator is like a top 20 movie of all time.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I mean, the original Gladiator is like an awesome, awesome movie. This is really good. It doesn't stack up to the original, but it's gonna make my top 10. This movie was awesome. And Denzel.
Number
Yeah,
16
it's
for
number
me.
10.
16
Yeah.
for me on that.
Okay, 16's not bad. Number 10.
I like how
number
this guy said it's gonna make my top 10 after he said it's number 10. Yeah, we know.
No. I was saying it had to make my top
okay.
10.
Number 9.
Wow.
Number 9.
Number 9. Juror number 2. I don't know if this is gonna be anyone else's, so let me go on
I
a
haven't
little
seen
bit
it.
of
It was up
a
there.
Nick Holt rant here. Nick Holt, if it wasn't for Timothy Chalamet and Glenn Powell, he would be atop the white boy power rankings right now. And he's not because of those two. But Nick Holt has been on an absolute heater, and you might find a theme in my top 10 when it comes to Nick Holt movies, or
Alright.
movies that Nick Holt is associated with. Number
I think
8.
that was number 30 on my list. but I still really liked it.
30.
Clint Eastwood. I can't believe they tried to bury that movie. That movie.
They tried to bury him.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
He's 93 making these movies.
Yeah, he still got it, dude. He still got it. Clint Eastwood's still in his bag. Number 8, same as Tommy. Late Night with the Devil.
Yes.
A plus 16.4.
Good to see that movie getting representation.
I remember watching this movie, Mitchell, and telling you I don't know how this movie isn't a top 5 movie for me. I really like this movie. But
yeah, I kind of want to beat your ass.
I rewatched it. Didn't hold up quite the same, but still loved it. One of my favorite horror movies of the year. Number 7 for me has probably one of my favorite scenes of the entire year, and I'm not going to ruin this scene because spoilers. But number 7, Heretic.
Ooh, 7. Okay.
I liked Heretic.
I'm glad that's on your list.
I liked it a lot, Mitchell. You know exactly what scene I'm thinking about because
Yeah.
I had the exact same reaction that you said you had in the chat. I said I was about to stand up and start clapping.
I was, especially given when that movie came out in November. That it was number 20 on my list because I think it was a little maybe overlong. But yeah, Hugh Grant won't get an Oscar nomination. Probably
He
should.
crushed it.
Was one of his most fun performances for me. I think he
You
was
just know he's going to
fun.
give a great performance every time he's on screen. He's a fun actor.
Now, Mitchell, let me cook a little bit with this this last entry on number 6.
Okay.
It has to be I have to be the only one who's seen this movie this year, which is a damn shame because I think Tom would also really enjoy this movie.
Blood and Honey too.
It's not. The Order.
I thought that would be higher for you.
Number 6, Mitchell, A plus 25.1. Awesome movie, 4.5 stars for me. Tommy, it's an FBI procedural. It's about Nick Holt as a white supremacist. So you'd be like, I don't know, am I digging Nick Holt as a white supremacist? I'm telling you, 10 minutes into this movie, you're like, wow, Nick Holt plays a white supremacist very well.
You've said Nick Holt is a white supremacist so many times. It's going to be the new lean on.
Are you saying I'm racist? Like
No.
I was wondering too.
No, I'm saying you'll like it because you like crime, like drama stuff. That's all.
Oh, I really thought you were saying you'll like it because you're racist as well.
I know you work for crime too, but I'm saying that you would actually enjoy like this crime.
Stopping crime, not working for crime.
You know what I mean.
You would like this movie because
No, it's not. It has nothing. Like Nick Holt's performance is great, but the procedural and
as a white supremacist.
He is. He just straight up is. I'm not gonna hide it. Like that's what he is. But I will say this: people are talking about Long Legs as like, oh, like that's such a good like FBI, like oh, it's just like Silence of the Lambs. Like no, this movie's better than Long Legs. Like if you like Long Legs, watch this movie. Watch this because Nick Holt does his thing.
Once again, a strong top. Would you like a top 45?
I get 20. Okay, calm down. I get 20.
But a strong 10 through 6, and again, very different. We've only had one movie that's overlapped. That's going to change, but only one movie that's overlapped so far. That being Late Night with the Devil. So I will run through some honorable mentions pretty quickly. I really wanted to get The Brutalist in the top 10, but I think that the way the movie wraps up, and especially that epilogue, I can't quite get there. But Adrian Brody should win Best Actor. It is definitely one of the best movies of the year, hands down. Conclave, I think it's just gonna be in everybody's honorable mentions.
Good movie.
It's got one of the best second acts of the year, and I just wish that the end result wasn't so obvious because I called that immediately. Because they were just paying a little bit too much attention.
Did you call everything?
No. I didn't call. There was how the hell were you supposed to call everything? But ultimately, the end result, I was like,
yeah, that's fair.
You just keep kind of mentioning that person. Why are they here? And yeah, Furiosa, I thought was going to be in my top 10. Didn't end up getting there. The one that really just it's number 11 for me. Saturday Night. I loved Saturday
Oh,
Night.
That is
It's
tough.
such a fun movie, and maybe it's because I've taken some of those TV studio production classes at App State, and so to a much
We having a
lesser
little
extent,
flashbacks. We having
I
some
kind of know the
flashbacks.
chaos of trying to get something like that done. Again, to a much lesser extent, but it was just such a fun movie. And then no one else has seen this movie, but Thelma. It's on Disney Plus. If you've ever had an elderly person in your life that you've had to uh, care for, or just kind of help with things that they can't do, it's basically the Beekeeper, but with elderly people, and
What?
I'm telling you,
I love
it's
that.
uh, you should have seen it. It's on Disney
I know.
Plus. Because she gets scammed out of her money, and she's like, "I'm getting this shit back."
Oh, she
Yeah,
goes on her own revenge tour.
yeah, and she's like 92, and she's like, "I'm gonna do this," and it's just such a fun movie. So give Thelma a watch if you haven't already. My number 1 through 10 is actually just The Beekeeper 10 times, so I
love
can
it.
keep this real quick. No, I'm just kidding. Although I do love The Beekeeper,
We can talk about that movie, even though it's not going to be on any list.
man.
We can talk about it at some point. Yeah.
The most insane movie of the year, hands down. Number 10 for me was a movie that I did not think was going to make this list, but it did, and that's Wicked. I had such a great time with Wicked. It's a movie
Man,
that
I must be a hater.
you are a giant hater. I've seen this movie multiple times in theaters because people in my life want to see it, and so I'm like, yeah, obviously I'll go back and watch that. And every time I've liked it more. Ariana Grande should win Best Supporting Actress. The music in this is phenomenal. Some of the direction and the visual stuff I wasn't the biggest fan of, but man, I just had so much fun with this movie, and the songs in the musical are just amazing. So had to put it in the top 10.
Forever loathing. No,
So
I'm
good.
not going to
They're
get us
better when you don't sing
Yeah,
them.
I'm not going to give us copyright.
Number 9. Number 9 is going to be Challengers.
Yeah,
Another
ooh.
one that the first
Ooh.
time I watched it, I got about an hour and a half in, and I'm like, this is going to be like top 3 of the year, hands
That's what
down.
I was thinking. Oh my gosh.
But I think the movie wraps up kind of weak, if I'm being honest. But
Well,
the 3 lead performances of Zendaya, Mike Faced, and especially Josh O'Connor, someone that I think is really worth following after his role in Challengers. It's got a great visual style, a great score. If you haven't seen Challengers, please check it out. It was one of the best movies from earlier in the year. The Brandon is a Hater tour continues as number 8, I'm going Sing Sing. The movie that A24 just does not want you to see for some reason, because watching this and finding a theater that was playing this movie
back at
was
some point.
damn near impossible. And they were only playing it like at like 2:30 p.m. on a Wednesday, and that was like the only time you could watch it. It was so bizarre. They don't want you to watch this great movie. Coleman Domingo will be nominated for Best Actor. I feel good about that. This should get a Best Picture nomination, and Clarence Macklin should get a Best Supporting Actor nomination. I thought he was incredible in this. It's a movie. I bet you haven't heard of it, Tommy. Not in like a haha, you haven't heard of it, but they don't want you to see this movie, so I know a lot of people haven't heard of it.
I hope
It's
it
a
gets to
movie.
streaming somewhere. I really
It's
do.
a movie about these inmates, and they do like a theater class, and it's about them like using theater as a way to kind of like handle things.
Handle
And,
emotions.
and yeah, and it's a fantastic movie. It's really good.
It's really beautiful, and I'm like mad at myself for not having it in my top 10, but I'm glad it made someone's top 10, and I'm glad there's some representation because, like Mitchell said, I just don't think a lot of people have seen it. So if you get a chance to see it, I would definitely recommend it.
Number 7, The Wild Robot.
Wow.
This might be DreamWorks' best movie, and I did not expect that going in. I expected it to be extremely solid. But
that's a take, though. That's a take.
But given the fact that, like, because I walked out of Puss in Boots 2, like, You have to see
You
this.
heart
This
was
is
Like I
so
can't believe
good.
this made my top 10 Puss in Boots too. Like this
Oh,
is
It's so
actually,
good.
that didn't make my top 10, but it came
it made
very
mine,
close.
but yeah.
But the Wild Robot, I think that it just gave a little bit more of an emotional punch, and the visual style was so fun to watch in this movie. I would love to see a sequel, but I'm more than fine if they just leave it alone and this is the only one that they
I
do.
think there's more books,
Um,
Mitchell. I think there's more, so they can do
yeah,
a sequel if they
and,
want.
this did extremely well. So,
Yeah.
Wild Robot number 7, and then number 6, Brandon. I got to give you a little bit of credit. You are not the only one, because we are both much higher on Gladiator 2 than most
Thank
other
you.
people. I think Denzel Washington should win Best Supporting Actor for his role in Gladiator 2. I loved him in this movie. Paul Mescal's getting a lot of crap.
I don't get it.
I thought he was really strong. Now, going back to what Howie said earlier, no, it does not hold a candle to the first Gladiator, but I put the first Gladiator on a bit of a pedestal. It is such a great movie, and I think that people, yes, it's called Gladiator 2, but people are kind of unfairly comparing it to the first movie rather than just judging this movie on its own terms. And on its own terms, I really enjoy what they did here. This is the best use of Pedro Pascal I've ever seen in a movie. He just kind of walks around
I
and
hate
does
you.
nothing. Fantastic C+ level performance,
Why?
best work
Why
of his
do you
entire
have to
career.
be on
He's such
Pedro
a hater
Pascal?
for no reason.
And I also really liked Fred Heckinger, I think is his name. He's also in Thelma. He was also in Craven the Hunter, which will not be on my best list. He did a really good job as one of the twin emperors. That's a little bit more off his rocker than
Yeah.
even Joseph Quinn.
Mitchell, can I give one more thing about Gladiator 2? I just I don't understand why people are like dogging Masco, because for me, when he gives those like long-winded speeches and he's talking to soldiers or talking to gladiators, I want to run through a brick wall. I'm like, yes,
It's
where
not
death isn't,
It
we
don't
are
hit the
not.
same.
Like,
It didn't hit the same,
the
no.
only reason why is because he's being compared to Russell Crowe, and what Russell Crowe did was like instantly iconic.
like, are you not entertained? Is like one of the
Yeah, like
greatest.
man,
lines ever.
that's untouchable. It's untouchable.
Yeah.
And you were never going to be that. But I also think that this character is different than that character was. So I'm fine with. Yeah, I loved the movie. I had a great time with it. The Glicked double feature. They both made appearances on my
Yeah.
top 10. So I had a
Glicked's
great
awesome.
time with it. Tommy, if you want to take it away for your 5 through 2.
So I'm gonna make it really easy for you guys and not do any honorable mentions. I'll just get straight to the point. So
Go.
number 5.
Thank you.
Number 5, I have Fall Guy.
What a fun time.
I really enjoy that movie. I'm not a big
happy.
Ryan Gosling guy, but this movie had just so
I'm
much.
sorry, what?
You heard me.
You're not a big Ryan Gosling guy? Would you also not like chocolate?
Reese's cups. We're not a Reese's guy.
Okay.
We're learning a lot here right now.
Yeah, all right.
I'm glad it's on someone's list though. I really
yeah,
am. It's a fun time in the theater. It's a fun time.
Man, it was a really enjoyable time. And you know what? If it's in your top 5, bitch, you a fan.
Yes, I am. Number 4, I had Twisters. That one, I wasn't sure how they were gonna how they were gonna do a sequel. Same
Yes!
Gladiator. I was like,
You are right with me, Tommy.
I was
It's
like,
not
how-
in my
how you
top
guys-
10 at all. It's number 28 for me. But you know what?
31.
It's so much fun.
it is. So this is where I always joke around with you, Mitchell, because you're very serious with movies. I like movies that entertain me. If I
Nah,
sit
this
down
was
and watch a
entertaining
movie-
as
That's
hell.
fair.
If I sit down and watch a movie and go like, this was fun, I enjoyed it, it's gonna go high on my list.
Tommy, since you didn't go to the movies, you didn't see the trailer. When Glenn Powell goes, "Can you feel it? Chase it." It is the greatest line in a trailer.
Oh, if you
Oh,
feel it, chase it.
If you feel it, chase it. It's the
Glenn
best
Powell.
line ever.
Glenn Powell also Hitman was a strong one this year too.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Yeah, Glenn Powell, top number 2 white boy power ranking.
Real. A Chalamet, but he up there.
So my number 3, I'm mad that it's this high on my list, but it's Civil War.
wow. Okay.
Only
You should have
because
just cut us off. You should have just been like, Civil War is a great movie.
I thought it was a very well shot movie. I thought it was a very interesting take how they filmed it. I will agree, I hated the ending, but that didn't take away from me loving the movie.
That's fair.
Mm. Mm.
I like it.
It was a little scary how realistic it was, and like, you know, our near future, what could possibly happen. But that aside, I thought it was a really fun movie that had some turns I was not expecting in this movie. So yeah, that's my number 3. Am I doing 2 as
Jesse
well?
Plemons alone in that movie was just horrifying.
Well,
Mitchell,
that's what I'm saying,
Jesse
that
Plemons.
that whole sequence, I was not
Yeah.
expecting that.
Jesse Plemons has hit the level of, and I joke with this to Mitchell all the time. Jesse Plemons is the level where if he's on a project, that movie's good.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't pick bad projects; he just does it. So
Am I doing 2?
Yep.
2
Well, you doing number
is
2, and then we'll do number 1.
I thought Civil
Not
War was
together.
4. Was Civil War not 4 for you? I thought
It was 3.
Three.
4 was Twisters.
4.
2 is A Quiet Place Day 1.
Wow.
All right.
That movie had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. I enjoyed the whole, like, you know, obviously the whole way they shot him not talking, using sign language. Like, it was just a different movie that you don't see that kind of shots and that kind of dialogue, because obviously they can't talk the whole movie. I enjoyed the first movie.
I was gonna say you've seen the first 2, right?
My jaw's out because you're gonna hate me for this. I fell asleep for 5 minutes.
Well, it's a slower movie at some points.
I mean,
because it's
but
so quiet.
I
But like,
really liked it. I really liked it, but not that much. But
36 on my list, but it was still like a B+ movie for me that I really enjoyed.
yeah,
so, yeah, that's my number 2.
A Quiet Place. So, what would you give a first Quiet Place and the second one? Like how? Like, do you think? Like, where would you like rate those 3?
I actually never saw the second one.
Okay, but the first one, like
The first one I had very high on my list for the same reason. It's just a different type of horror.
Mm,
You know, because everybody
Gotcha.
knows one of the major elements of horror is sound. And when you take that out of a movie and you can still make it scary, that's how you know you're a very good director and have a good story going.
that's an amazing point. Yeah, when you take the sound away, it changes it a lot. That's a really good point.
All right, Howie, 5 through 2.
All right, 5 through 2. Honestly, this was it shuffled a couple of times because I really had to sit and think about where I put these movies. There was one movie that was a little bit higher, and there was one that was a little bit lower. I will say my number 1 never changed. My number 1 has stayed the same since early in the year. So it has been there, has not changed, but my 5 through 2 definitely shifted around a lot. Number 5. Anora was fantastic. Okay. This movie was great.
Glad someone did it.
I love the ending. I know BT wasn't a fan of it. I loved it because I had to sit there afterwards. I was like, yo, like,
I mean,
damn,
she really did
that's
that.
messed up, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
you have to
that's
say that.
crazy.
Like, she really did that.
And you're like, damn, that really happened. Like, but then you just you like uncovered the meaning behind it. And you're just like, wow, this is even more sadder than I remember it being. Like, that movie was just so good. Mikey Madison in the GOAT conversation of 2024, you know, she crushed it, killed it. She's on my list. She's up there. Love her to death. I'm excited to see what she can do more of because I know she's been in the Scream movies. But I think Anora was the first time I've seen her in a role like this. I never saw most recent Scream movies, so I got to get in there and watch those. But she was incredible. The whole cast was great, and Anora was fantastic. Number 4. Again, this was a really, really tough list. It kept shifting. And this one was number 2 for the longest, but recently it has shifted down to 4. Challengers is number 4 for me. Number 4 on the list.
Sex and
Again,
Nice.
Mitchell said
Sex and
earlier,
Tennis.
everything but Challengers, man. It was wow. Like, I remember watching this for friends, and we just walked out of the movie like, what was that? Like, that was crazy. Like, Zendaya, of course, she's anytime somebody says that she's a bad actress, like, I just want to slap somebody. Like, are you kidding me? She's
she
not
peaked at this
missing.
point.
at
She
all.
picks great
This one.
projects.
Yeah,
She
she's
does.
the Jesse Plemons of actresses.
Yeah.
Like the GOAT, like B2 said, Sex and Tennis. Like, what could be better than that? And it was sexy, and it was a
Sex
lot
and
of tennis,
football.
and like, nothing can beat that, right? Sex and Tennis, it's crazy.
that 3-way was insane.
That 3-way was insane. But if you guys have not seen Challengers, if you what are you doing? Literally watch it right after this podcast. Like, come on,
Tommy,
I'll be doing it.
You got to. You're gonna love it. It's number 4, but again, it was number 2 for the longest time. But 2 movies that came out towards the end of the year, Trump challengers, and it was a
wait.
very hard decision to make here. And as somebody who has, who's not really a big musical person, Wicked really took me by surprise. And
Okay.
I will say also, there's a lot of people out there that don't have the luxury of seeing the Broadway play. I've been very fortunate to see it multiple times.
See, I haven't
Funny
seen
enough,
it.
though, I forgot 80% of it until I went to the movie.
Really impression on you, huh?
So it was almost like seeing it again for the first time. But the music was just incredible, top notch. Literally, my one of my best friends that I went to college with, we were sitting next to her in the theater, and she cried in the first minute of the movie opening. Like when you see, this is a spoiler, I'm sorry, but when you see Yellow Brick Road in the beginning of the movie, she literally cried. I was like, I was locked in. I was like, I'm ready to go for the rest of the movie. The music was great. Cynthia Ariana, fantastic. Michelle Yeoh, one of my favorite actresses, incredible. Jonathan Bailey was amazing. Like I can go on and on about the cast. The music was great. I love the ending song as well too. And seeing that in the Broadway play and then seeing Cynthia really bring it to life in the movie, I just get chills even talking about it because it was just so good. Oh man, Wicked was.
Can't wait for
incredible.
part 2.
Howie's a part 2
Can't wait.
guy. He probably on his top 5 most anticipated part 2.
Yeah, hey, I should have had me on that most anticipated, man. I'm ready to go for that. But we'll talk about it another point for sure. But Wicked, number 3. So for number 2, hold on, I'm gonna grab something really quick for my number 2. Okay.
Oh no.
He's got like a magic trick for us. This
Number
God.
2,
Shoot us in
I
the
got
face.
this very nice poster of the Brutalists. It's
Oh,
my
nice.
number 2
wow.
of
Presented through
2024.
IMAX, baby.
Yeah,
Mind
it's a
if-
lot of white space, but then you get like the little
I was gonna
image at
say,
the bottom.
there's not a whole lot on there.
Yeah, it's a lot of white space.
It saves a lot of
this is
money.
choice.
The budget was $10 million. Minimalist,
Yeah.
baby.
yeah, you're getting
Yeah,
that
we
for
don't
the
have
poster.
we don't have a budget for posters.
Hey, the budget went into make an amazing film, and literally they were cooking.
I'm so glad.
Adrian was literally, oh my gosh, I was watching this and I just couldn't believe the performance that he was putting on. And Felicity Jones, who I was a big fan of after seeing Rogue One, which is one of the best, if not arguably the best Star Wars movie ever made. I'm gonna say it, but seeing these two
Say it with your
together.
chest. Say
I
it
know
with your
might
chest.
be a take. It might
Mitchell-
be. I
Mitchell
like
doesn't
Empire
like
Strikes
Say
Back.
it
more.
reluctantly, please.
Say it with your-
But this cast was just, again, I'll keep saying cast for every movie, but literally it was perfect. It was perfect across the board.
Mm.
Yes, it is a 3.5-hour movie, and for some reason, for me, I could have kept going. When it hit the end, I was like, I could have done another 30 minutes. I was good to go because it was that engaging to me. I loved everything about it. Literally no notes, nothing bad about it at all. I loved every single second of it, and that's my number 2 of the year.
All right, Brandon. 5
Yeah,
through 2.
5 through 2. I'll make this kind of snappy. Since these are like repeats. Number 5, Eggers in his bag, Nosferatu.
Ooh.
I will say, I watched this movie with my dad because he wanted to see it. He was like, "Oh, it's a vampire movie. I like vampire movies. Robert Eggers. I know about Robert Eggers. I like Robert Eggers." He turns to me after the movie and is like, "Robert Eggers is a disturbing individual. Disturbing individual." And obviously, watching some of the scenes
saw
with
that
my
movie
dad.
with your dad. That's not a movie
Yeah.
I'd want to see with a parent.
Well, I honestly didn't know it was that.
You're kind of a disturbing individual for going to that movie with your
You
dad.
sicko.
Guys, I gotta be honest. I didn't know it was that horny, but whatever. I enjoyed it. Lily Depp Rose was awesome. So I hope she gets nominated. If she doesn't win, so be it. But if she better get nominated. I mean,
She won't, but
Gosh,
the
she deserved
Oscars
it,
hate
though.
she was
horror.
awesome.
Yeah.
I know. Mitchell, number 4 for me. I think I had this movie. It's my number 2 for quite some time. Dropped a little bit. Saturday Night.
Okay.
I
That's
think
high.
that movie, A plus 36.9, I think that movie just captures the chaotic situation of trying to put together a show like that.
Yeah.
And the countdown from we have 2 hours to air. We have an hour to air. We have we have 10 minutes. Let's just I think it's awesome. Like I just think everything about that movie. There's some people who aren't gonna like it. I get that, but as someone who likes Saturday Night Live, I thoroughly enjoyed Saturday Night, and I think most people who like Saturday Night Live should see this movie, just for the pure enjoyment of it. So yeah, number 4 for me, Saturday Night. Number 3, this is when we start getting to our 5-star conversation. You know, I don't give up 5-star movies a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but this is a 5-star movie in my eyes. I saw this movie very late at night with Mitchell. The Brutalist.
Yes,
Adrian
sir.
Brody, no notes. He went from Danny Hammerling and Angels in the Outfield to playing an immigrant coming across the ocean, trying to make his living as an architect. The Brutalist is an exceptional film.
Yeah.
And yes, it's 200 minutes, whatever. Screw that.
You got an intermission in there.
The intermission
It breaks it
kinda-
up.
Yo, that was
awesome.
nice.
I'm
Kinda
That was
surprised.
real
There haven't
nice.
been many movies that have done intermissions.
This is my first movie ever that I've seen in theaters with an intermission.
Yeah, kind of
was-
awesome.
That was
When-
I
when you-
really enjoyed that 15 minutes to just go, all right, I'm gonna go take a
When you had
piss.
mentioned that, I was going back and thinking like the last movie I saw that was that long was Return of the King. And I don't remember if that had an intermission or not.
It
No,
probably
it didn't.
didn't.
No,
Because if you
didn't.
think about it this way, Tommy, if you take those 15 minutes and you spread it out through 4 or 5 showings, you basically lose an extra showing. So most places aren't going to have an intermission, or most movies aren't going to have an intermission because they're trying to cram as many showings in a day.
Yeah.
Whereas the Brutalist right now is probably showing maybe 3-4 times a day. They're trying to maximize it at like 5 or 6.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I really like this movie. The intermission, awesome. Adrian Brody, awesome. Felicity Jones, she comes in. Well, dang it, that's kind of a spoiler. But yeah, Felicity Jones, awesome. Yeah, I really love this movie. And
Guy Pearce, gotta give Guy Pearce some love.
yeah, I know Guy Pearce was. I mean, Mitchell, I turned to you at one point and I said I really like this character. I
Yeah,
said this character is awesome, and then you get towards the end of the movie, and you're like, wow, this character is not so awesome.
Yeah, you're like, yo, he sucks actually. Like,
Yeah.
This character sucks. Yeah, number 3.
and I
for
did
me.
like Joe Alwyn
Brutalist.
playing Drake May and Justin Herbert's love
Oh
child.
my gosh, he was. He was Drake May with Justin Herbert's hair. I mean, that's what he
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Oh, he was. As soon as Mitchell pointed that out to me, I was like, I can't unsee it.
Yeah,
I literally can't unsee it. Number 2 for me, Mitchell. If this isn't in your top 3, shame on you. Better Man. I'm gonna let Mitchell finish it off.
number
Let me-
2.
Let me just say, Howie, for someone who says that, oh, Wicked, I really like that musical. That's awesome. Yeah, there's a better musical this year, Howie. There's a better musical. And its
Number
name,
2.
its name is Better Man. And you might be
Oh,
saying to yourself,
shut your mouth.
what is Better
Tommy.
Man?
no,
What is Better
Tommy.
Man about? Like, what is
Brandon's
it about?
preaching. You better listen.
It's like, what is it about? Oh, it's about Robbie Williams? Who's Robbie Williams? Oh, he's a British pop star? I know nothing about him. Let me not go to the theater. Oh, he's a monkey? Oh, I'm definitely not showing up.
Yeah.
Please, screw that. No, seriously, screw that. I
That's
watch
exactly
this
what I
movie.
said to the movie. I said,
Watch this
"Screw that,
movie,
it looks dumb."
because if this movie had been marketed as, oh, the director of The Greatest Showman has a musical biopic coming out, I guarantee
It
you
would've- it
people
would've sold more.
would have seen this movie. But
Yeah.
like no one knew he was the director, which is ridiculous because The Greatest Showman arguably has one of the best opening scenes of all time. So like and there's a musical number in this movie that might be the greatest musical number in the history of movies. Like what are we
I don't
doing?
know if I'd go that far, but like, I'm not gonna.
I mean,
beat you
Mitchell,
down for it.
it just pisses me off. Like, see this movie. Like, I can just see it. I hope it goes to streaming. I hope it has long legs. Shout out Long Legs. No, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, like, I hope this movie makes money in the end because it's just an awesome musical biopic, and I'm gonna see it again. Like, I'm gonna see it again in theaters, hopefully, because I'm gonna try to find it before it leaves, because this movie deserves as much as it gets in the box office, in my opinion.
Nice. I am going to just really quickly rattle off our good friend Josh Kornmeyer sent me his top 10. So I'm going to rattle this off very quickly. All right. Number 10, juror number 2. You have some
Wow,
you have a
awesome.
friend there,
Nice.
Brandon. Number 9, Transformers 1. Number
Okay.
8, Hitman. Glad to see Hitman get some representation. Number 7, The Fall Guy. So Tommy, you're not the only
Okay.
one with The Fall Guy on your list. Number
Love
6, Deadpool and Wolverine. Shameful.
Super high.
Number 5,
Super.
Josh was the highest on Gladiator 2, assuming no one's got it at number 1.
Wow.
Number 4, Challengers. Number 3, The Wild Robot. Number
Okay.
2, a movie that I thought maybe someone might have on this list, but Inside Out 2 getting to number 2. And then number 1, Dune Part 2. So
Inside
You did
Out 2 is
something-
number 20 for me. It was very good though.
You don't want to know
I
where
really
Inside
like
Out 2 is on my list.
what is it, like the last one?
No, 41.
That's not awful.
41.
It's an A minus. It was good.
Yeah,
The first
I
one was
had
better,
it
but, like,
at
2 was good,
34.
too.
All right, number 5, Tommy, Brandon, glad you guys kicked this conversation off. I loved Late Night with the Devil so much.
Oh,
It is a movie that Tommy, we are talking about it next year for the horror, the 31 Days of
Absolutely.
Horror. We
We're
have
watching it again
I,
next year.
I cannot wait to watch this again. This is going to be a Halloween staple in
That
the Lee
was
house.
one I was putting off because I wanted to wait till next year, but I heard so many good things about it. I was like, I gotta watch it.
Yeah, that's going on the 31. I got to talk about this thing in depth with you guys, spoilers and all, this coming October. I can't wait to do it. I'm just glad that David Desmouchin got a lead role, because this guy has been in so many movies and so good in so many different movies. It was nice to see him in the lead. And this movie was really the atmosphere and the way that they covered that time period in a talk show in that time period was just phenomenal. And then the final shot of the movie, what they leave you with, oh, I just loved it so much.
Best final shot of the year?
I think you might have a case. Number 4, my favorite horror movie of the year, that being Nosferatu. You want to talk about a movie that captured atmosphere just perfectly. I really like.
One I cannot wait to see.
Dude, you will
So
eat
good.
it up. It's fantastic. I really liked The Witch. I need to watch The Lighthouse again. I think I was just kind of.
If you watch it again,
Not-
I think you'll.
I think I will too. But The Northman was the one that really got me on
Yeah.
Robert Eggers' train. And this thing here, I mean, Willem Dafoe is great. Lily Rose Depp is fantastic. Of course, Nicholas Hoult goes off. He's not a white supremacist here, but he's still fantastic. Bill Skarsgård, I'm just going to take them at their word and say that was him, because who the hell knows who that actor
I
is.
didn't know it was until
Didn't
after.
look
I
like
was
him.
like, what?
Didn't
Yeah.
look like him. I will say this. I heard this joke and I thought it was hilarious. If you think about that movie as just about real estate, it makes it even more funny.
What? All right,
movie's
I'll
about
watch
real
it
estate.
again.
The movie's about real
Technically, he's
estate.
not wrong.
The movie's about real estate, if you think about it.
And as somebody that watched Bram Stoker's Dracula earlier this year, I liked this Nosferatu a lot more.
Yeah.
And they're basically the same movie, but I thought this was better. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Lily Rose Depp just goes off here and is absolutely incredible. Number 3, Better Man. I love this thing so much. This was a movie I went into thinking like, I think I'm going to like it. I have no idea who the hell Robbie Williams is. And for those of you who are wondering, he is the UK's Justin Timberlake, which means significantly worse. Still good, but like, come on, Justin Timberlake's the GOAT, and Robbie Williams is just like a decent pop star. But the movie is fantastic. Michael Gracie, who's the director of The Greatest Showman, he just, for lack of a better term, puts his dick on the table. This whole movie. and he just does not care. He attacks every single scene with as much creativity as you can possibly come at this. I remember watching Rocket Man and thinking, I want all my musical biopics to be like this. And then Michael Gracie, who was supposed to direct Rocket Man originally, said, hold my beer, I got you, with someone you've never heard of before, with music that's 10 times worse, but I'm going to pump it up and make it even better, and have these just elaborate sequences. The visual storytelling in this movie is unlike anything I've ever seen. I had such a good time. And there were so many times where I'm in this movie like, am I really about to give the damn CGI monkey movie a spot in the top 5 of my list? And no, I'm going to give it a spot in the top 3 of my list because I love it so much. I know it's bombing, but when it comes to streaming, and I think it's going to be Paramount Plus, watch this, please, because it's one of the best movies.
How many times did you cry? I cried 3 times.
I think that's about where I got to. Man, the rock DJ scene. Oh my goodness, that's just such a great scene. The She's the One dance sequence was phenomenal. The way this movie wraps up, the angel sequence with the grandma. There's just so much gold in this movie, and if you have not seen it, I want to say shame on you, but like, I understand. My only ask is that when it does come on streaming and you can watch it at home, give it a chance and then come back and let me say I told you so to your face. Number 2, Howie, I love that you were this high on this movie, but I'm higher on Anora than you.
Whoa!
I loved Anora. And this is coming from someone that went into the movie. I'm not a big Sean Baker fan. I've only seen The Florida Project, and I didn't even like that movie. And I didn't like Mikey Madison going into this. She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She was fine.
She was in Once Upon a Time. You're right.
She was the one that died the most hilarious death. She was in Scream, and I hated her in that. I thought everything they did with her character was extremely predictable. So I'm like, all right, Mikey Madison, Mikey Madison's giving a performance I think should win her an Oscar. So this is Pretty Woman meets Uncut Gems and is low-key hilarious.
No, it is.
And is just the most like insane thing. And Brandon, this movie was never going to be number 1. It was always going to be number 2 for me.
Mm-hmm.
But the ending did bring it down just a little bit. But I feel like if I watched it again, it wouldn't bother me as much as it did. Because this movie just takes you on a roller coaster of emotions. And I think that where it ends is just such a like, I don't really know if I want to leave off feeling this way. Yeah. But it's the most logical place for it to go. So I think that if I was to watch it again, it would still be number 2. It ain't touching number 1, but it's still it's a even stronger number 2. And I do think that Mikey Madison should win Best Actress. And of all the movies that are seriously competing for Best Picture, this is the one I'm rooting for.
So, Mitchell, can we really quickly talk about the Russian Borat scene where they just go on that whirlwind of like doing a bunch of random stuff?
Yeah.
And just goes to Vegas, does drugs.
The side quest.
The side quest, basically.
Yeah.
That part of the movie, like, that's some of the best cinema all year.
The scene at the apartment where they come in and his family members and they're trying to find him, and like, I was really like, wow, this is going to be like, it's still not competing for number 1, but a lot of years maybe this would be number 1.
Like, I'm telling you, if you take out the last 30 to 40 minutes of that movie for me, it's number 2. Like that, like, this movie is awesome.
I will say though,
majority of that movie.
My 2 through 4 last year was Spider-Verse, Holdovers, and Iron Claw.
Nowhere near
and every single one of those movies is better than Anora, in my opinion. Yeah. So that would have been number 5 last year. So again, what I'm saying, in the 2 through 5 being a little bit weaker, but it's time.
I mean,
Let's
we
talk
know.
about the number one movies. Tommy, the floor is yours. Your top
Yeah,
movie
you're the
of
one that's gonna have the
year.
different movie than everyone else.
Get
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
Like you're
Get
the
ready
one.
to watch Mitchell's face turn beet red.
Oh
You
no,
think
don't
he
do
gets
this.
mad?
Don't do
You
this.
think he gets mad when I talk shit about the Jets? Just wait, Brandon.
Well, I'll get mad about that
Number
because
one.
usually I'm the one following. I'm like, yeah, they don't
Number
hurt you.
one, Deadpool, Wolverine.
I love you. I love you so much.
Brilliant.
I don't have that opinion.
No,
Cook.
But I am
talk
so-
about your movie.
I am so glad that someone has this as their number one
talk,
movie.
talk
of the year.
about your movie.
I am so glad.
It's not my movie, Mitchell. It's America's movie.
There we go.
That is damn right. That is damn
Well,
right.
yeah, as we have seen, America's dumb as hell.
Yeah. And you know what? We still love it. Because
What'd you love
Ryan
about
Reynolds-
it? It's number one.
Ryan Reynolds can't do wrong. Him and Hugh Jackman are the best buddy comedy action duo of this century. I will fight you on that.
Cook.
Better than John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell.
Yes.
I mean, this
Better
is
than
it.
Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill.
Yes.
You on
I like
drugs.
Jump Street.
Yes.
I like Jump Street a lot.
Granted, that is a close second, but yes, you can't top the relationship that the two of them have and that they bring to the screen. The relationship that Ryan Reynolds has with the director, whose name I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
Not
But
Levy.
Sean, I'm a hack Levy.
Thank you.
Well,
The three of them have a great working relationship, and when you can take that relationship, put it on screen, and just say have fun, you get a fun fucking movie. And that's what Marvel, as a geek that I am, has been missing, because everybody's trying to make these elaborate stories. They just need someone to say, hey, go have fun, make a fun story, go wild. It was a fan service of a movie, I would give you that. The story was a little weak, but it was a fun fucking movie and entertaining all the way. And that's why I will put it at number one over everything else, because I laughed my ass off. It was a gory movie. It was a swear word filled movie, because God knows how many times I said fuck in that movie. I don't know. But it was awesome.
I think they crossed.
Yeah, it was
the
like a
threshold.
12-year-old learned the word for the first time.
They crossed the threshold for PG-13 like 5 minutes in that movie.
Yeah.
They
Love
were
it.
like, well, we're already in
Well,
the
yeah,
R.
that was never going to be a
category.
PG-13 movie.
Yeah, we're already in the R category here. Tommy, let me ask you real quick. Favorite scene when Channing Tatum does his Louisiana accent.
He
Ooh,
was
not
the
a
best
man,
part
name
about
of
that
my
movie.
son.
I did love him in that movie.
Hear
But
me out.
again, that's
Hear
what I'm
me
saying.
out.
It was Ryan Reynolds brought him on knowing, hey, your movie got scrapped, you got fucked over. Do you want to come on and bring this character to life, even if it was just this movie?
Redeem yourself.
And he had fun with it. He had fun with it, and it really showed on screen.
Or is your other favorite scene the minivan fight scene?
It's up there, yes.
The minivan
So
fight
good.
scene, I will never get over that.
That was
That-
solid.
I
At
will
least
never
you're
get over
picking good scenes.
That
I mean,
and
Mitchell, I
have
want to pick
say
bad scenes. That movie
end
is awesome.
with nice pool, like the whole using him as a human shield,
Oh
like
my
I now
gosh.
you
you
didn't know,
lost me.
Oh my gosh, yes, that was awesome.
like you didn't know he couldn't heal. And he's like, I don't know.
You asshole. I can't.
It's classic Deadpool. Like it was so classic.
And I love Deadpool as a character, so obviously that.
I want him in Secret Wars so bad. I
love
can't wait.
Hugh
He'll
Jackman,
probably will
and
be.
I can't
just
wait.
and the Marvel Jesus, smashing his head on the camera saying "fuck you, Fox, I'm going to Disneyland." Loved it. That's why I knew. I was like, all right, this is gonna be a fan.
Oh Jesus!
I was like, this is gonna be a fan service movie through and through, and I'm here for it.
Also,
I
one of the
think-
best
yeah, go
opening
ahead.
scenes of the entire year.
Yes.
I mean,
Now
Mitchell
you
can
have
say whatever he
definitely
wants.
lost
No,
me.
Mitchell can say whatever he wants.
he's
But the
cooking.
bye scene is just.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's cooking. Someone stop him.
No.
Perfect.
Hey, listen.
Thomas here.
What I
Mitchell.
liked
Sit
about
down and eat.
Deadpool was that like when you see Deadpool 1, that it had a very distinct we want to make this
It's a love
raunchy, we want
story.
to make this crazy.
It
And
was
Deadpool 2,
actually
they try to
good.
go back a little bit from it. But I think 3 was a good middle ground of 2 and 1, where it also felt like it was Gen Z-ish too. So it was getting a new crowd of Marvel fans in,
Yeah.
which I think it had a good combo of all
Howie,
of that.
this is
So I
the
like that.
arc of Deadpool movies. 1 is
Yeah.
a love story. 2, family movie. 3, fuck all of that. This ain't a family movie.
The buddy cop, if at all.
3
So good.
script. We don't need a script.
Oh gosh, here he goes.
All right, well, we got 1 in the books for Deadpool
I mean,
and
we
Wolverine.
already know what
1
the
for
one
Dune
is
2.
for everyone
Howie.
Yeah, let's just like go through this quickly because
All right.
We know.
Well,
We can say it at on the count of 3.
Yeah, do we want to say
say
it
on
all
the count of
together?
3.
Say it all together.
1, 2, 3. Dune Part
Dune
2.
2.
Part 2.
Wow, you guys are awful at this.
That's
Dune
bad.
You said part 2. We said Dune 2.
Yeah, Dune
Yeah,
2.
I said the name of the damn movie.
All right. Let me cook first. Okay.
Go off.
So,
Go
for
off,
everybody watching, okay. Originally, when I got this movie, Mitchell, Brandon, and Josh and Molly, everybody in our chat, you know, we talk about it as soon as we leave the movie. I went out the movie the first time and I was like, I'm not that high on it actually, and I don't know what it was when I watched it, but something like towards the end just didn't click for me. I don't know what it was, and I was like, this is an A. Like maybe an A plus, and they were like, "What the what the fuck is he talking about?" I was like, "I'll give it another chance," but something didn't click for me. But when I rewatched it, it's like I don't know what it was that didn't click in my head, and it just was better to say. It was way better second time I watched it. Obviously,
was it 70mm better? Like, is that
It-
why?
I watched it 2 or 3 times. I think 70mm definitely did help. Watching it, Mitchell, I think definitely like amped up a little more. I'm like, yo, I was crazy for giving
I
us an
was
A.
wrong. That
I was
that
wrong.
Warm
I was
Magic
like-
scene was too good.
No, because I had rewatched the ending, and I don't know what it was that didn't click to me the first time. But when I rewatched it, and I was like, oh, Timothy Chalamet is cooking. I was not ready for him to do that.
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy. He was Timothy.
Timothy,
Literally,
stop.
He's son Al Gaib.
seeing that scene where silence, it's an abomination.
Oh
And that was so good. That was, oh my gosh. I could talk about Dune 2 forever. So good. Of course, the music is incredible. Acting's incredible. Environmental scene's incredible. Like, I don't see how you can leave this movie and not give it more than like an A minus at least. Like, it's one of the best movies that I've seen in a long time. And it was incredible. It was amazing. And now, like I said, if Oppenheimer came out last year, I mean, Oppenheimer would have been number 1, but Dune 2 would have been a very, very, very close second. It's an incredible movie. Amazing work all the way around. Dennis, the master. That's all I got to say. So go ahead, guys.
Me too.
Yeah, Denis, how dare people hate on you? How dare people not give you a Best Director nomination? How dare they not give you a Best Film nomination?
They can make this
Shame.
right tomorrow.
Shame on the Academy if this does not happen. Because Denis is in his bag. He is just doing absolute work. And am I ready for Doom Messiah? Am I ready for maybe the 6th book in this iteration when Denis not involved and it's God Emperor? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But Dune Part 2, absolute masterpiece. Sci-fi masterpiece. And if you think I'm joking, number 1 movie of the year for me, A plus 94.3. I'm not joking around.
Solidified.
Top
Also,
5
it
movie
was
of my life. Top 5 movie.
of your life. Whoa. Okay, that's
my
a lot. I was like, whoa. I don't know about that. But also, I wanted to throw to B too. Also, that it was the number 1 rated movie on Letterboxd of 2024. Also,
Rightfully so.
I'm gonna throw it out there. Everybody
right.
agrees.
Letterboxd is 100% right. Howie, I can't get on board with it being better than Oppenheimer because Oppenheimer A plus 89.3.
Really, you over Oppenheimer? Really?
A little bit more extra about what Timothy is doing. Just maybe I'm just sniffing the spice a little too much.
It sounds like the director leaned on Timothy just a little bit.
Hey, we all did.
Hey, yeah, I mean, we leaned on it.
That's why Timothy Chalamet is number 1 white boy of the year. So there you go.
Yeah, number 1
Right.
of the decade, of the century. Mitchell, last thing on this. Timothy, did people forget? Did they forget? March, this movie came out in March. If it doesn't get nominations, I'm going to be pissed. Because Timothy, there is a scene where he just goes off. I mean, when he's talking in tongues and he's just doing his thing, like when he's telling you I'm the savior from the outside world, like it's just incredible work. It's incredible
So many
work.
scenes.
Zendaya is awesome. I mean, no words, no words. Go
Rollin, Dave
ahead.
Batista.
TC, white boy of the decade. White boy of the decade.
So
I don't know if you're allowed to say that, Brandon.
I think I am. I mean, I think I am. I don't.
So-
I don't usually bring that into it, but I mean, I don't know who's gonna top him. Like, I really don't. I really just, I don't.
my favorite movie of 2024 is Dune Part 2. And I saw this
Ooh.
movie.
Are we shocked?
I saw this movie 6 times in theaters.
Thank you.
The first time I
Wow.
saw it, I was able to get into one of those like advanced screening things taking place on like a Sunday night.
He probably lied about
and-
his email or something. You know, yeah.
No, I had a baseball broadcast and I needed the game to end a little bit sooner to be able to make it, and it did. So I was so hyped.
Thank
I was
God
able
the Ducks.
I was able to watch it, and then I saw it again, and that was in IMAX. I saw it again with Brandon in Dolby. I saw it 3 more times, and then I drove 9 hours on 30 minutes of sleep to go see it in Lincoln Square with my good buddy Howie.
That was dangerous. First of all, we don't. We
Oh,
don't
1,000,000%.
We don't
1,000,000%. It's something. Yeah. No, we don't need to get into that.
It wasn't dangerous because I know you were probably like horny as shit, just flying down the highway. Like, I gotta go see Dune.
No. The bad
Jumping
part
Red
was
Bulls.
the bad part was the driving back, because yes, driving there I was like, man, I can't wait for this. And it lived up to every possible expectation that I had. I was so happy to not only be able to do that, but to share that with you, Howie. That was a lot of fun. I will
that's
never
great.
forget that. This movie here, and I see so many movies in theaters where it's just like in one ear, out the other type stuff. If I don't log it on Letterboxd, I'll forget that I've even seen it. So I'm kind of chasing like a runner's high type situation. I got into I left this movie, and I had like a 40-minute drive home that was just like going between screaming and crying. I was so happy leaving this movie because I was so excited for this. I loved the first Dune so much. This blew it all the way out of the water. Brandon, I'm on your side when it comes to this. This is my favorite movie of the decade so far. It's my favorite movie of the last 8 years. It's an A+ 92.12, so I'm not quite as high as you, Brandon, but I feel like you give out the A+ 85 plus a little bit more frequently than I do.
Fair criticism.
And it's not necessarily a criticism. It's just I'm a little bit stingier
because
with
we
it.
appreciate and enjoy movies.
Yeah, no, it was, and this year, Rebecca Ferguson was fantastic. Zendaya turns in a great performance. Javier Bardem is the biggest meat rider of all time. An incredible performance. But
Austin Butler.
Oh my God.
This man should be nominated for an Oscar. Austin Butler delivers some fantastic work here. And again, if this movie had come out in November, if you switch Wicked and Dune 2's release date, Dune 2's getting a ton of nominations, and Wicked, which again I love, is getting less. And so I hate the fact that they did this movie in this way, but it was supposed to come out last year. The top 3 of Dune 2, Oppenheimer, Spider-Verse last year would feed generations.
That would have been hard for a top 3. That would have been.
I would have picked Dune 2 and Dune 2 easy.
Mitchell, that's 2017 stuff right there. Like that.
I think it's even surpassing that.
It surpasses it, but that's like the most recent year I can think of. That would even be
what Timothée Chalamet does in this movie. If he ends up winning the Oscar for A Complete Unknown, I'm just gonna pretend it was for this. Not that he's not great in A Complete Unknown.
Oh, he's awesome in A
I'm
Complete
gonna
Unknown.
pretend that it was for this movie because he does things in this movie that I remember seeing Call Me by Your Name in 2017 and thinking this kid is about to be like the next DiCaprio. He's gonna be something special. And like becoming the Lisan Al Gaib in Dune Part 2, watching him in that scene where he's speaking in the Fremen language and all the Fremen are getting behind him, that was like the fulfilling of the prophecy of like, this is our guy. This is the next big thing in Hollywood. and yeah, it gets me every single time. I'm like I was in the car. I'm somewhere between tears flowing and like wanting to scream. It this movie does things to me, man. This is a special movie, and whenever anyone says that 2024 was a weak year and the first movie I think of is Dune Part 2, it makes it hard to really get into that side of the argument. So, Dune Part
I agree.
2 with 4 votes for the top movie of 2024, but also not discrediting Tommy, Deadpool, and Wolverine. I'm glad you were having fun at the movies, even though the movie theater was your couch this year. You have a child. So seeing over 30 movies in that environment, props to you, man. You put in some good work, and I'm glad that there was a lot that you saw and enjoyed in 2024. We're definitely going to be more succinct when it comes to the worst list of the year. But before that, I have my mid medal stand.
Pure
I'm
mid.
breaking this
Mid-medal.
out for the most mid movie of the year.
So you
So,
want to go first? Do you want to go first, or I can go? I can go real quick.
oh, I didn't know you had a mid medal stand.
I had a pure mid middle stand, baby.
Okay,
I have
so
5 C's this year, so I'll just rattle off the C's.
we're gonna do gold, silver, and bronze. Okay.
Okay.
So for bronze, Deadpool and Wolverine
You were terrible.
for mid movie of the year. But I liked it a little bit too much to get it further up the medal stand. Silver,
That's sickety.
Mufasa gets the silver for most mid movie of the year, but I liked it too little to get it further up the. I mean, the music in that movie was just trash.
Let's be honest. You wanted Lin-Manuel to do Moana 2.
I thought this was better than Moana 2.
No, I get that.
Mid means
but
middle of the road. It does not mean bad. It just means the most mid
just
movie
think
of the year.
they wasted his talent by putting him in. I mean, contract obligations. Maybe they weren't supposed to do Moana 2. That's what I've heard. But
But the gold
it's a shame.
for most mid movie of 2024 is a movie that I'm just tired of hearing about this damn movie. I don't care about any of the stuff going on with this movie. It ends with us.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it apparently it ends in court because these people just can't get along at all. But I hope at some point it ends with us not talking about this damn movie anymore because it just doesn't warrant that level of discussion.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll go really quickly. I had 5 C movies this year. Red 1, 5. Rob Peace, 4.
You made
No
that
one's
up.
gonna know what
I
Rob
know you
Peace
didn't
is.
make it up, but you made it up.
No one's gonna know what Rob Peace is. I saw this at Regal by myself in the middle of the day. Whatever. I think I was like one of 3 people in the theater. Mid movie. And then yeah, number 3 bronze medal for me. Despicable Me 4.
See, I didn't like it enough. I gave that a D+.
Just, I mean, we gotta end the Minions
Yes, we do.
franchise at some point. Like,
Yeah.
it's gotta
2
be
movies
over.
ago.
It hurts to say, but yeah,
This hurts me. Yeah, this hurts me to have this movie as my silver, but it's just how I feel about this movie. The Lord of the Rings.
DreamWorks seems to do well with trilogies, and then after that, it dies. Like
Yeah.
Shrek was great till Shrek 3, and then it died. Minion, Despicable Me, it was even 3 was okay, but it was at least decent. Then after that, it just died.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I have it mid bronze medal. Pure mid silver medal for me. The Lord of the Rings: The War of Rohirrim.
Man, that was mid. That was mid.
Mitchell, you have a great way of describing this movie, and I think you should say it over me because I'm not going to steal your thunder. I'm not going to steal what you said.
Are you talking about just like what my Letterboxd review of it was?
No. You said something about Fathom events, which I thought was very.
Yeah, it felt like a Fathom events movie rather than a theatrically released like.
Felt like they rushed it
Yeah.
through, and they're just like, "This is a Fathom event. We'll make you pay $28 to go see it," and it's like I don't know. I mean, I like the backstory. I think if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, Tommy, I think you actually might somewhat enjoy it. I enjoyed it at parts, but I think overall it became a mid movie for
It's
me.
also 2
I've heard,
hours and
I've kind of
15
heard that
minutes
across the
long.
board.
You've heard it's like average, or usually
I'm
not
not
people don't
huge.
like
I'm
it.
not huge into anime, so that was kind of what was keeping me from like going to
Hmm.
really want to see it. I heard the story was okay, and at least was faithful to the lore, which is good.
Yes,
Which
that's
I
what it
think is what
was.
saved it from being a complete dumpster fire.
Right. I think the story
But
itself,
I would like to hope that it's good.
yeah, the story itself saves it from being like a complete like below mid. But for me, that's a perfect way of describing it. It's an okay movie. You're not gonna have a bad time at the theater. It's just not. It's not anything to write home about. Um, Gold medal for me. Um, Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire.
Okay.
I
I
Ooh,
like that a little more than you,
just
but I totally get it.
It's just
I liked
totally
it.
average movie. I can't get over it. The movie that just missed the mid spot, Kung Fu Panda 4. Maybe I just don't like movies that are fours, but for me, Godzilla Kong the New Empire is just not doing it for me. I mean, I'm not saying they should end the franchise, they should stop doing it, but it's just like give me a better story. Like, give me something. You know, it's kind of how I feel about Blumhouse. It's like, give me something, and I just feel like they didn't. So, gold medal stand for me. Pyramid, Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire.
All right. Before we get into our bottom 10, Tommy, Howie, you guys want to, what was your least favorite movie of 2024?
My least favorite. I guess I'll go first. My least favorite. Um, you know, well, okay. I'll give you my two least favorites. I'll give you a little extra
Because
here.
they're like next to each other,
I think
kind
I
of.
might have the
They're
same
next to each
too.
other.
Tell me where they
And
are.
there are some thoughts. First one, I'll give you the second worst was Borderlands, and
Oh,
as a person who's worked in the gaming industry and social media and gaming, and I'm a huge gamer, as you can see my, if y'all know Final Fantasies back here, so I got that there. I'm a huge gamer. This is what I do. Video game adaptations in the last few years have really turned around. The Last of Us, Arcane, Fallout, Sonic movies,
yep.
Super Mario Brothers. It's starting to turn around a little bit. Gran Turismo, Twisted Metal, I heard was really good too, surprisingly. So we were thinking that we were going to continue this trend of good movies, but Borderlands, since it got announced, we were like, I don't know if that's going to work in a movie setting. All delays happened. The movie came out. That movie, wow, I don't know why it was made. Like honestly, watching it, I'm like, this should not have came to light because it wasn't faithful to the games at all. The character casting was a miss. I'm not saying acting was bad. It's just it was a miscast all the way through, and it didn't really seem like they put any effort into making this movie decent at least. So Borderlands is the second worst movie, and the worst movie, unfortunately, is Madam Web, which I think a lot of people saw coming. And I really hope Sony has learned from this year with Craven and Madam Web about their Marvel side of things. And that's all I'm going to say about Madam Web because I could go into it if I really want to, but I'm going to leave those two there.
Tommy?
So mine were both superhero related, and I'm sure you can all predict what they were. Madam Web and Joker. They
Oh,
were
Wow,
Joker. Okay.
the
Okay.
two.
Joker.
I can confidently say I've never walked out of the movie theater on a movie before. Granted, I don't see as many movies as I used to, but even when I used to go at least a couple times a month, I never walked out of a movie because I was like, I already paid for it, so I'm sticking it through. These two I would have walked out on. Joker, I actually turned off halfway through. I can actually say I never finished the movie because it was just that bad.
Oh, because the second half is significantly worse.
The second half.
You saw the
Don't
you saw the
worry.
good part.
Yeah,
I
you saw
saw
the good
it.
part.
So yeah, that I turned off halfway through, and Madam Web, I sadly watched the whole thing and wished I turned it off halfway through because it was so bad. The acting, the cinematography, it felt like it was a low budget early 2000s like the Daredevil Elektra style movie, and it should not have been. And just everything was bad. There's I don't even know where to start. It just I couldn't get into it. I was sitting there just going like, all right, when's the good stuff going to happen? Then they finally started to get to the action at the end. I'm like, all right, maybe they'll pull out, maybe all their budget was saved for some big cool fight scene. And then we got that, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And it was a letdown of a movie.
Amen to that. All right, Brandon, I'll lead us off, and I'm just going to go through. I'm not going to segment anything out.
Just rip.
Honorable mentions, Argyle. How dumb do you think I am? I'm not dumb enough to... No, that movie was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. The Exorcism, you might be saying, "What, Mitchell, that movie came out in the 70s. What are you talking about?" No, I'm talking about the 2020, the 2024 movie with Russell Crowe. Yeah, it's just,
I forgot about that movie.
So did I, and I sat in an empty theater at 9:15 in the morning on a Tuesday watching that movie. It was awful. Joker didn't make my bottom 10, but man, did I want it to, because Joker fully a doofus, just wasted my time. Megalopolis. Man, I actually had a great time watching this movie, but it might be like the worst movie of the year. It is horrible, but I kind of had fun with it.
Aubrey Plaza
and Shia LaBeouf, they made the movie.
They knew the assignment, Howie.
Yes, they did.
Knew the assignment.
People like Adam Driver and John Voight did not. And then The Watchers, M. Night Shyamalan. Your Kids proved this year they can't direct, and another one proved they can't act. So, not the greatest year. Number 10, Tarot. That was a movie that I knew as soon as it got announced. That's going to be on my bottom 10 of the year. And surely enough, it's number 10. Not scary at all, stupid as hell, and it proves that Ned from the Spider-Man movies, buddy, yeah, you might not have a future in this business. Number 9, Here. 30 years ago, Robert Zemeckis, Tom Hanks, and Robin Wright combined to make Forrest Gump, which, while I don't think it should have won Best Picture, is a cultural classic for a reason. And now they're doing this shit. Yeah, the whole movie has an interesting concept of, like, it's a still camera taking place in the living room of a house over generations. And, like, what all happened through, like, different people living in that house. But at some point, we're going back to, like, Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, we went back to the dinosaurs, man.
Yeah, and there's a point where there's, like, they do this de-aging effect on Tom Hanks. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. They made Tom Hanks look like 35 years old. And then someone goes, hey, your 18-year-old son is home. And I, like, spit out my drink. Because I'm like, there's no way that dude's 18. No. Hell no. You can't expect me to believe that for half the movie. No. Just atrocious. Number 8. The American Society of... I don't know if I can finish the title of this movie without getting canceled.
Oh, it's the American Society of Negroes, right? Is that it?
There you go. All right.
Magical.
Okay.
Magical.
I can finish it, so I got you.
Of magical.
Got you, folks.
Magical.
Yeah, this...
magical. There it is.
Yes.
This movie is awful to... I don't think a single person can see this movie and not get offended by it, because that trope in movies... which I kind of noticed when we were doing the Green Mile review, and that was why I maybe couldn't put the Green Mile higher than a lot of other people could, because of that trope. They just don't understand it. They don't understand it at all. And also, it doesn't... Look, there are certain debates that I'm not going to get in whatsoever. They're not for me to debate. But if you're going to have this argument, maybe cast someone that's a little bit darker skinned, because they tend to be the ones that are more impacted by this trope in media.
So what you're saying is this isn't a debate for Nicholas Holt's white supremacist character.
No. Complete opposite. Opposite.
And they turn it into a weird romance thing, and it's like, all right, have you completely lost sight of what this movie was supposed to be? It's not funny at all. It completely misses the point of what it's trying to do. This was just an awkward ass movie to watch, and I hated every second of it. But I wouldn't mind seeing a remake of it from people that have talent, which was sorely missed in this movie. Number 7, Atlas. It's a movie on Netflix with Jennifer Lopez in a mech suit and Simu Liu, who, holy mother of God, is he horrible in this movie? I don't hate Jennifer Lopez as an actress, but this was just a disaster.
Wait a minute, was this one with the AI robot?
Yes.
AI thing? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I know
no,
which one you're
it's
talking
it's
about.
awful, and it's like an hour 50-minute movie that feels like 4 years, and yeah, no, it's so bad, and it's only number 7. Number 6, the odds-on favorite to be the worst movie of the year was number 6. That's Imaginary. This is directed by Jeff Wadlow, who did Truth or Dare in 2018, which was my least favorite movie of that year. I remember Brandon and I had a good time roasting that movie. About halfway through, we all turned to each other and said, "This is shit, right?" And we all agreed and started talking about the movie openly and how bad it was.
We were the only people in the theater, by the way. We were.
Yeah, this is true. 2020, he made Fantasy Island, which was my number 3 worst movie of 2020, which was awful.
You just don't like Jeff Wadlow.
And so this was number 6. So Jeff Wadlow, this is like a career best for him. You still suck at making horror movies. This was awful. Just not scary at all. Stupid, repetitive, awful characters. Yeah, so career best for Jeff Wadlow. Number 5, Blumhouse. Just awful, awful, awful year. Night Swim, the movie about haunted pool water. If you had told me at the beginning of the year that this would be number 5 and not like 2 or 3, I would have slapped you and then apologized for my anger problems. But I just saw a movie about haunted pool water. You can understand why I'm a little bit frustrated, because I just saw a movie where the concept is, hey, the pool water is haunted. And this got a theatrical release and was released nationwide for people all across the country to spend their hard-earned money to watch a movie about haunted damn pool water. And it's even dumber somehow than it sounds when I'm saying it. This is a stupid movie, and the worst part is this stars Carrie Condon and Wyatt Russell. They got talented people to be in the fucking haunted pool water movie when they could have been doing anything else with their time. This is what happens when you give Jamie Lee Curtis the Oscar instead of Carrie Condon. Just awful. Number 4.
Do you want to keep going? I'll let you. You just want to keep going.
Yeah, I'll finish this off.
Yeah,
Number 4, Borderlands. Oh, this movie annoyed the hell out of me. Jack Black in this movie made me want to like do something heroic, like pull the theater fire alarm just so that we could all leave. Kate Blanchett is miscast. Kevin Hart, just I know he's trying to be like the cool dude. He's got his big character trait is, I've got a hat. Cool, man. I don't care about your damn hat. This is a movie that was very clearly poorly directed, poorly written. The studio mismanaged the hell out of this. I don't think there's a single thing in this movie that I liked, except for the fact that I know there's not going to be a sequel because it bombed so horribly. Number 3, easily the most controversial pick on this list by far, because I know people that have this in their top 10. But I'm sorry, I Saw the TV Glow was the single most boring movie I saw in 2024. I get the allegories that they're going for in this movie. I just don't think they were done particularly well, and the acting in this put me to sleep. Justice Smith, he might be the worst actor in Hollywood right now. This guy sucks. I'm no fan of his. No, this thing, and it was just, there was a movie that felt like it went on for decades. It was I Saw the TV Glow. The only reason why I didn't, leave the county while this movie was going on is because Furiosa was what I was going to see afterwards. So I stuck around.
Are you really going to leave me? You're going to leave the county?
I was going to leave the county. It was just, oh my goodness. If I have to hear the words "the pink opaque" one more time, I'm going to throw myself off the Golden Gate Bridge. Number 2, Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. I'm not the biggest fan of Megamind, but I do really like it. And this was just an ad for a TV show, and a TV show that looks annoying as hell given the characters in this movie. 5 minutes into this movie, I was questioning not just whether I wanted to finish this movie, but whether life was something that I wanted to keep pursuing, and if it was something that, like, was worth my time. I did end up pulling through because I remembered that I can go see Dune Part 2 for the 5th time after I'm done watching this movie, because it came out the same weekend. You had the option of staying home and watching Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate, or going to see Dune Part 2. And so I'm just sorry for anyone who chose the Megamind at home option. But the number one worst movie, this is without question, without hesitation, it's Madam Web. This was never going to be dethroned. Nothing came close to dethroning it. This was the type of movie, and somehow I've seen it twice because Sarah wanted to see just how bad it was once it got to streaming, and I was like, "No, I'll sit down and roast this thing with you." And this is a movie, and I do not say this often, if ever. This is a movie where they should have gone, "Hey, you see that garbage can in the right hand corner of the editing screen? You go ahead and press that button. We're scrapping this thing. We're not releasing this to the public. It's not happening. We're gonna Batgirl this thing." And there's no way that Batgirl was as bad as Madam Web, because, like, I've had bowel movements more pleasant than Madam Web. In fact, most of them have been more pleasant than Madam Web, because most of them just come and go. But Madam Web was one where I just felt like I was there for years, and the editing was so bad, and the scenes where it was so very clearly like the mouth was moving, but the things that were being said were not at all matching what the mouth was moving to. And this is a movie that doesn't really have a plot because it's been edited to hell and back, because they made the movie and then realized it made no damn sense with the timeline that they had. So then they had to, like, scrap it and do other stuff. And the movie makes no sense. They sold the movie on, like, hey, you've got these heroes, but they're only in their costume for like 4 seconds of the movie. This is a movie that has accurately deserved its title as, like, one of the worst movies, like, ever made. And I feel bad for a lot of the people that were in it, because they were sold a bill of goods that they were not able to be a part of. And Dakota Johnson, between this and the 50 Shades franchise, she needs to pull a Leonidas from 300 and just kick her agent into that hole from 300. Pull This is Sparta and just kick her or him into the into that pit, because she's a very talented person. She can do great work, and her agent is fucking her into the dirt. Nice. So yeah, Madam Web, number one.
Well said.
Nice.
Brandon, take us home.
I'll move quickly. Yeah, I'll move quickly because some of these are repeats, some of these are crossovers. Tommy, wake up though, because this movie is gonna surprise you. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. On my list. No, I will say I didn't get to that many F, D minus type movies. So I will say I gave Ghostbusters a D, 10.5. I didn't hate it, but it is on my bottom 10.
Hey, you did? You gave it a D.
Yeah, D's bad. A D's bad. Bad. I will say Drive Away Dolls.
It's crazy because we knew, but I feel like a lot of people didn't know that.
If Margaret Qualley wasn't in that movie, it would have been in my bottom 10. Everyone involved in that movie owes her an apology.
Yeah, definitely. Joker, Folly. What are we doing here? Because that's what was happening.
Just Folly.
I think they tried to make a bad movie, or at least the director did, and halfway through, people were like, "Wait, this is a musical?" And they just went with the people. Yeah, the people who were sold a bill of goods is like, "Oh, this is the sequel to Joker, which is an awesome movie." Yeah, I think he wanted to make a bad movie because they forced him to make this one. So yeah, I'm gonna stick behind that. Number 8 on my bottom 10 list. Here, Mitchell, everything he said was right. Interesting concept. The still camera, cool. Just poor execution throughout. Poor execution. Number 7 for me, I saw the TV Glow. Like Mitchell, I understand the allegories they're going for. I probably liked it a little bit better than Mitchell did. I didn't give it an F. I gave it a D minus. But either way, I just, man, if I have to hear the words pink opaque again, like Mitchell said, like ew, it just makes me cringe every time. Pink opaque, I'm just like, oh, please stop saying it. Was where I was getting at about the 40-minute mark of that movie because they say it quite a bit.
There's another year to
Um,
go.
yeah, there's another year to go. Number 6 for me. This isn't controversial in my eyes because they made this biopic poorly. Reagan. This has nothing to do with Quaid as an actor. I actually think he pulls off Reagan pretty well. The way they made this movie will make you sick. I just can't believe they told this story through the eyes of a KGB agent,
Redacted.
and it was all about communism.
Sorry, what?
You heard me. That's
I
exactly
haven't
what
seen
they
this
did.
movie, so I
That's
didn't know that.
exactly what they did, Mitchell. And now I kind of want you to watch it because it's probably going to be on your bottom 10 list if you do.
I might have to give that one a look.
I mean, it's a poor execution of a biopic. Like it's just bad, bad. Number 5, the American Society of Magical Redacted. That's what I'm going with. Yeah. Yep. Redacted. Number 4, Night Swim. I can't believe they made a movie about haunted pool water, and I can't believe the lead or the main character is a former baseball player for the Milwaukee Brewers. I can't believe it. I just can't. I can't believe this movie was made. Blumhouse, do better. Like Jason Blum, please do better. Just
Lock
please.
in, please.
Lock in. Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. Number 3 on my bottom 10. Yeah, everything Mitchell said is right. I will give this movie one piece of credit. The ending theme song for the show at the beginning kind of slaps.
Why?
Kind of slaps, Mitchell. Megamind.
You're not doing it any favors.
Yeah, I'm not doing any favors. Number 2, an entry that Mitchell does not have because Mitchell would never watch this movie. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Part 2. And let me tell you, I gave this movie
Oh, he's rhyming.
2. I gave this movie, or I gave the first one an F 1.5. You might be saying, "Wow, it got a point." Like a point and a half? What did it do? Well, it did nothing right. This movie, F 26.7?
We're improving.
25-point increase. I'll say better production value, better kills, better acting, better story. There was actually a plot. It's still in the middle of England and there's Irish people too, so what's going on with that? But
What?
at the end of the day, I can't believe they're allowed to make these movies, and I'll be damned if this movie's ever going to drag itself out of an F grade for me. So F 26.7, number 2 on my bottom 10 of the year, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Part 2. And then obviously the movie that I coined the phrase Super Mega F 3.5 is what I gave Madam Web. Yeah, Super Mega F is quite frankly what it deserves.
Love that.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you as well as the Super Mega F minus.
Yeah, okay, add the minus to it too because that's what it deserves. I mean, this movie was just bad. I mean, Mitchell's right. They should have got to the end of the editing process and been like, yeah, hit that trash can, hit that delete button because that's what should happen. So yeah, bottom 10 movies of the year, number 1, Madam Web. Still can't believe I watched Blood and Honey too, but I watched it for you guys, so you don't have to watch it.
Well, thank you very much, Brandon, and I will not watch it. Well, folks, top 10, bottom 10, and everything in between for 2024. Watch these movies if you haven't.
I can go fuck myself then.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Don't you have a bottom movie?
You already gave it.
Did he give it?
You gave it. You said Joker and Madam Web.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, my fault.
I don't get to give my bottom 10.
I blocked out.
You only saw 30 movies.
I still had some more.
Do you and Howie want to go on for a bottom 10?
No,
What's your 10? I'm just curious. What your 10 is.
My 10 was Kung Fu Panda 4.
Okay, yeah,
That's
I
fair.
mean
That was a
mid movie,
massive disappointment.
yeah, disappointment.
All right.
Child Poe though is good stuff. Child Poe.
Child Poe. I wouldn't say
Wow.
that too loudly. All right. Well, for for Brandon 2, Tommy Grant, and Howie Collings, I'm Mitchell Lee. Thank you for joining us. Watch these movies, form your own opinion, and yeah, we'll see you for 2025. And for next week, The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises reviews as we continue the Nolan reviews.
Spoiler alert. Those are very high